All right, here we go with the 2013 Range Rover V8 Supercharged. And I'm gonna tell you on this Supercharger, this was getting it out. Was a chore. I'm gonna save you a whole bunch of time and headache with just what you need to do to get it out. So here is the back of the Supercharger. There's a ton of videos out there that show all of the disassembly. It's pretty basic. What I want to show you is I wound up taking all of this off because I didn't know any better. I was unscrewing these, all this bracketing, everything. None of that needs to come off. There's only two things to unhook on the back. So once you get this out, or at least unhooked and uncoupled from the bottom, you know, the bottom, I can't pick it up from that side. The bottom's got those little deals there, those little dowels that go in and hold it in place. So anyway, what you need to know is there is right here one electrical connector that goes right here, and I'm going to show you that. You just reach under the bottom of this and you would just push it, you know, clip it. On the other side, the only other thing you'd have to unhook is this connector to this sensor here that goes into the intake on that side. I think it's a lot easier to just unscrew it. I tried for an hour to unhook that. It's got a barb on each side. It's just incredibly hard to unhook that. You can try. If you can get lucky and get it, go ahead. On mine, this is a 7mm. So I just reached around, unscrewed that bolt, popped it out, took the whole thing out. After I got it out, I realized all of this. Here's looking at it from the front. None of that even needs to come off. You just have the one plug here, right under here, which that actually comes off pretty easy, and then you have the plug there. So anyway, when we come back in here, here's this plug. It's just got the one little push right there, and you pull it out. Here was the plug that, for whatever reason, is just hard to unscrew, to unpop that. Once you get that out, what I do is, because I've taken two of these out now, once I use a broomstick or a pry bar or something, just right here on the back of the water pump, and I just work it enough. Once I finally pop it out where those dowels are, then I just kind of pick it up with the snout and I put a 2x4 or a couple 2x4s sideways in here, stack them up, just to get this up kind of out of the way, away from these knock sensors, because then you can kind of pull it forward. Then that gives you enough room to reach around behind there. But that will save you a ton of time trying to unscrew all that stuff, because there's a bunch of brackets. There's a bunch of brackets, bunch of screws. There's, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 6 or 7 screws you're trying to unscrew back there. You don't have to take any of that off to take that Supercharger out. Hope that helps. Okay, just a quick update on the installation of this Supercharger back in, just to give you a little bit more help with that, with all the brackets and the stuff on the back. So definitely you can leave all that in. The easiest way to get this back in is to, okay, so I got my double block of wood right here. I put that down on the oil cooler first. I set the Supercharger on it. Now pull, take the oil filter off so you have more room, but you can pull the clip that's over here on this side that I showed on the back, the gray one. When this Supercharger's sitting up on that wood, just pull it forward. You can pull it forward about, okay, so you can pull it forward almost to here. That clip will reach here, so there's plenty of room. You know, pull this out like 6-8 inches away, and that clip will plug in there really easy. Now on the other side, with that other plug, it's a lot easier. There's just no room to go in from the top over on that side. So it's a lot easier with that double piece of wood. I put one more 2x4 in there after I got this side plugged in, the gray side. So I put one more 2x4 in there and just raised it up enough. You can just go right under the bottom. Just go right under the bottom of that intake on this side. Just go right under the bottom. Here's where that here's where that that sensor is. You just go right on the bottom and you just grab that plug, plug it right in. Super easy. And then just take the wood out, put your supercharger in, snug it up. One other thing, I went ahead and took, there's just one bolt here for this little attachment that goes with this hose. I took that off just to give me a little more room. You don't necessarily have to do that, but that's the two ways. And if I was taking this out, if I knew that in the beginning when I was taking this out, I would have just raised this supercharger up and reached underneath, and maybe I could have just pulled that out without unscrewing that. But that is definitely the easiest way to get to that, is just go from the bottom. Okay, here's one last little piece of information. So when you set this supercharger in here, you know, when you put the pins in for the gaskets, the guide pins. First of all, I just got some thread all from Ace Hardware. And in another installation, I did the 4-inch pins, and it's a nightmare. I literally just did like 1.5 inch pin, maybe 1 3/4 inches. That's plenty. I just cut a little slot in there with my grinder, and you just put those pins in. That gives you so much more room and ability to move that supercharger around, to get it in there, to get those plugs and everything plugged in. So you don't need to go through that. You can just do 1.5 inches, put a little notch in there, and you can, you know, move that. Plus, that'll be shorter for putting the top of that supercharger back on also.